All right, class, this is your next project on tessellations. It is due on April 13th, and it is 100 points. And absolutely no late projects will be accepted. If you are going to be absent that day for any reason, you need to make sure that a parent or a student drops off your project to the office just to make sure it's not late. Now, of course, you can read through all these objectives and such and vocabulary to kind of help you get some background knowledge on our project. Basically, tessellations is a repeated pattern of shapes that has no gaps and no overlaps. So again, you can look through this definition section to get some ideas of what tessellations are. I have linked a YouTube video on how to create a template on our website. I actually named it on the website how to create a tessellation. So watch that video. The lady in the video gives some really good details on how to put together a template that you can use to trace your tessellation. One thing about tessellations is that it has to be the exact same picture drawn over and over and over again. So using a template is the only way you're going to be able to achieve that. Now, for a true tessellation, it can have no overlaps and no gaps. So if your template does not fit perfectly, then your tessellation will be wrong. So you want to make sure you watch that video, and she will describe to you how to create a really well used template. I also have another video on the website of a gentleman teacher showing his students how to create a template also. So you have some good resources to look at. So you want to know a couple things about this project here. Here is an example of where you have squares and triangles fitting together to create a tessellation. You can have it in this type of branched out form, or you can have it in a more linear form. Okay? However you choose to use your polygons for your tessellation is up to you, as long as you don't create any gaps or overlaps. The more complex your design gets, the more challenging it can become. Okay? If you choose something more challenging, you have the ability of getting some extra credit points. If you choose a more basic and easier route, then you still get the full credit for your project. Just if you show me a couple areas of difficulty, then I should give you a few extra points. So I gave you some methods here of things to do. Again, in the YouTube videos I linked, they go over this. But one thing you want to do is copy a shape onto some tracing poster board paper. You don't want to put it on lined paper, something that's hard to use as a template because it shifts. So you want to use something that's a little bit more sturdy, like poster board. Okay? When you cut around it, you have to cut precisely. You can't be a sloppy cutter because one little move in the wrong direction can throw your whole template off, and then you have to start all over again. You can also tape your figure together. So if you cut a piece out and you want to tape it to the other side, you can do that as well. And again, in the videos, the lady demonstrates that. All right. In either method, draw before completing. Do everything in pencil, and then when you are done, you can come back with a black marker and trace it out if you want, and then start to color. You want to make sure your colors are nice and bright, and you are using alternating colors. Okay? So, the next part to your project is a written response, which will go on to the back of your project. This says right here, type and tape your response to the back of your project. Your response specifically answers each of the questions below. So at the very top of your paper, you should have this, Unit 8, Tessellation Project Written Response. You can have your name and my name and the day that it's due. I just put March 23rd. This is an old copy here, but you will put the day that it's due. First question. What is the idea or theme behind your tessellation? What polygon or polygons did you start with, and how did you alter it? Which means how did you get the pattern to change and fit into each other each time? Which would lead to question 3, what transformations did you use? If you're not sure what a transformation is, you definitely need to research that before starting the project. There's several different kinds of transformations. The top 3 are reflection, rotation, and glide reflection. Those are usually the most popularly used. Okay? And then number 4, in your opinion, was M.C. Escher an artist or a mathematician? And make sure you justify your answer. When you write up your written response, you can just number, like number 1, and write your answer. You don't need to rewrite my question, that's fine. Again, make sure these are typed up and taped to the back of your project. I would say about 2 to 3 sentences per question would be fine. You don't need to write a ton of research. So when you go to start planning your project, you want to use an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. That is going to be like your standard copy paper, your white paper. Do not use lined paper. And if you're going to use construction paper, it's going to be very difficult to get those bright colors. So stick with basic white copy paper. You can create a template like we mentioned in the methods above. You can use a computer to help you create your template. There are some software programs out there where you can create a tessellation template, but your entire project must be hand-drawn. It cannot be printed off the computer. Consider the following when planning your tessellation. Do you want to use 1 polygon or more than one? Again, the more complex you make it and the level of difficulty you take it to could earn you some extra points, if done correctly. How complex do you want to make your original figure? Do you want to use one transformation or a combination to tessellate your figure? You can use more than one type of transformation. How are you going to use color to alter your tessellation and create more patterns? Sometimes when you get to the coloring stage, you can make it even more complex just with the coloring. What is the idea or theme that you want to express in your piece? And again, what is the title of your piece? You can put your title on the back of your project so that way you're not taking up room with your title on the front. Your entire tessellation will take up the entire sheet of paper. There should be no white space left. Everything must be colored. Okay, here's some ideas. This would be a hard template. You would start off with an actual square. I would maybe say a 3 by 3 would be a perfect square. And you see how we can cut out this top template and then tape it down here to the bottom, creating this type of a wave. Okay, and again, you can get more complex, and keep going. Here's a glide reflection template if you wanted to do a glide reflection. Okay, and here's a rotation template. All right, and you just read below to see how to move these around so they'll fit inside each other. Here are some examples of M.C. Escher's work, of his tessellations. You can see the lizards actually coming out of his drawing and then going back into a flat surface. Here he's repeating some horses with wings. And then down here he's repeating different kinds of birds. He has the white on the front of them and then the black on the back of them. So just to give you some ideas of what M.C. Escher has done. And of course, if you'd like to look at more examples, go right onto the websites, Google M.C. Escher, or just Google Tessellations, and you will find tons and tons of resources to help you. Here is the rubric that I will be using to grade your project. All of these categories are very, very important for this project to be met, or your tessellation will not come out correctly. So you can read through this. Of course, if you want an A, read down the 4 column. But I will be looking for organization, complexity of design, completeness of the tessellation, creativity, and that you follow directions. It's a maximum of 20 points for that part there. And then your writing guidelines for your written response section is another 10 points. That was that part that you're going to tape onto the back. So a total of 30 points. However, it's a 30 out of 30 gets you the 100%, which gets you the 100 points in my class. So whatever percentage you get out of 30 is going to be the points you earn on this project. Okay, so I'm just not making it out of 100 right away. I'm just going to make it out of 30. But then if you get a 30 out of 30, then you get the 100 points. If you get a 90%, you get 90 points. Okay, so make sure you read through these directions. I spent a lot of time putting this together to give you as many details as I possibly can to help you with this project. So it's very important that you read and don't jump right to the making of the project and do it wrong. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here to the top and just remind you that this project is due April 13th. It's worth 100 points. And again, check out the YouTube videos that I've linked to our site to help you get some ideas. And I will also show you in class some pictures of tessellations I would like you to use. I can actually show you some of them right now. So we have this particular picture here, okay, just using the shape of an N, flipping it around. Okay, here's some fish. Again, if you look, you have fish going in one direction, fish going in another direction, fish going in this direction. That's a very complex design. Okay, we have some birds here. Same kind of thing. Just repeated design, flip them around, turning them around. So there's lots of ideas that you can come up with for your project. I will also be uploading a PowerPoint to kind of help you as well. But if you were to turn in any one of these projects here, that would be an excellent source to look at. Okay, you want to make sure that you stick with a pattern, you stick with certain colors, and that if you are going to draw something like eyeballs or faces on your project, it has to be exact on every single one. If you're not that good of a drawer and you're starting to notice that one happy face came out really good and the other ones are not, you want to do away with that because that would be a point deduction unless you came up with a template for your little faces. Probably on these drawings here, created with the faces, they had a template that they traced and then colored in each time. That would be fine. But if your tessellation is not perfect on every single pattern, then your grade will not be as, high as you would like it to be. Also, I want you using very, very dark colors. Do not use pastels. Don't color super, super light. You don't get the effect of a true tessellation. You can do black and white if you want to do that. MC Escher had a lot of black and white photos that he also used, and that's fine. Again, just making it dark. Try to stay out of the gray area just because it can blend in with the white very easily and you don't see the contrast of colors. All right, well, I hope this helps you on your project, that it gave you some ideas of what you need to do for your project. Again, read through all of this stuff. Mostly the vocabulary here will kind of help you on what kind of tessellation you might want to create. And be sure to check out those YouTube videos that I put up on the site for you. Again, this is due April 13th. No late projects will be accepted. All right, have a great day.